Hey, what's up guys, it's Oakley, and we're going to be doing a 3 versus 3 massive battle on Shogun 2, and I actually went ahead and got what you guys were recommending, Fall of the Samurai, so I can actually show you some of my troops. Now the problem is when you're playing online with Shogun 2 is the fact that you have to unlock units, so I don't actually have access to much more than some very basic troops. If you're unfamiliar with Fall of the Samurai, well then you get some sort of I can't remember if they're using muskets or rifles at this point, probably muskets, but yeah, you have a range of different tiered muskets, and I basically am paired with the weakest of them. White Tiger Force, who are supposed to be like the most crap, basically a peasant with a gun, very poor stats, and so I am limited to bringing just those guys to the force, as well as some perhaps low tier infantry as well. So I do have some like Yarikachi, are we sprinting forward? Does this thing shoot? So I have some more Yarikachi on the flank, and then 2 cavalry kind of pushing up that side. My opponent is lining up here with the traditional, oh, I guess he has White Bear. Yeah, so White Bear is not too good either. I guess this player is kind of new as well. Katana Kachi. Yeah, so it looks like we're going to be facing off with relatively similar forces. So here I am up on the hill, kind of cresting it with some of my White Tiger force. And over here is a huge hidden force of samurai in the forest. Like I said, I'm limited in what I can bring, and so what I'm forced to bring is almost like a spam of Katana Kachi hidden on that side, as well as some Yariki on that flank. So I'm going to prepare a massive infantry charge over on the right flank, and then have some more Katana Kachi here marching up. We can go ahead and look at the other flank. We're kind of pushing up the center. I'm going to try and secure this position and perhaps this building. Over on this side, however, we're lined up with some Imperial infantry, so some really nice Red Bear and other troops, and they're going to start contesting the control of this farmhouse. But it looks like 2 players are actually teaming up on this side, and another group of Imperial Guards, some very heavy infantry, very elite units taking their position up on the hill. And now they're going to start facing off. Looks like the general over here has some initial fire he's going to get off. Yeah, he has some nice range advantages, so he can start getting some initial shots, doing some damage there. This is going to be a very slow back and forth pacing battle here. Initial shots getting taken at these spear levies, but that's okay. That's spear levy. They're really cheap, and they were just meant to delay the advance here. Meanwhile, we're going to start pushing the center, and we're going to try and get a flank on this force, but with such heavy Imperial units, it's going to be hard for us to push that. So what we decide to do is push up instead on this flank. So it's going to be myself pushing up with some of my units, and here comes a big charge up the fortified hill position with my Yarikachi. So here they go, they're going to crest the hill. The enemy general, other foot troops are going to start positioning themselves, firing at my men. Most of the men were sort of covered by the hill, barely, but we're still going to be taking tremendous losses. But look at that in the back, more of our guys forming up, and this is just the initial screening force, and these are brave warriors just tanking that amount of fire coming in. And I did also get the blood and gore DLC that you guys were telling me to get as well, so I took some recommendations for you guys, and now we're going to be having the benefits of additional gore as I come and stream down this line, getting a nice charge. And I forgot that blood actually gets on your screen in this game. The blood effects are kind of comical in this game, but yeah, here we go. So we're advancing down that front. Over in this position, I push up my White Bear, and I'm going to start taking some shots. Again, Yarikachi are going to be the ones screening my force, and I have these massive like katana columns led by some very cheap White Tiger, backing up massive infantry columns. So one of them is going to be pushing out here. The other massive samurai charge coming along this flank. We can get a little bit of the shots as they're running up. You can see the enemy force is going to start to engage with my main lines, getting some shots up on my Yarikachi, but with this all-out assault, I'm able to tie up the opponent, especially disrupt this flank was very important with my Yariki. Yes, we're kind of getting destroyed, but we're still getting pretty good kills on this unit. You can see a lot of them are doused in blood. And finally, some of my units are going to start breaking up the front, but not before my entire infantry column is going to start to deploy into the enemy's midst. They're going to come crashing into that position. Over here, we're still continuing to just charge up the line with my cavalry. I want to break these guys, prevent them from firing, which is going to buy another, yet another infantry column to swarm up the hill towards our opponents. Let's get a shot from up here. This must be scary from the opposing force. You can see all the samurai coming down from that edge. Some of the enemy forces are going to start shooting down at my guys. They have the high hill position, but my guys are actually going to start getting some counter shots against them relatively soon. And yeah, shoot your guns while you can. Enjoy this moment, but you're about to get cut in half by a katana. So there we go. Now we're going to start engaging, and now I have crested the hill, and now we're going to be pouring into these positions, getting some flanking shots. My ally is also helping me clean up the opponent with some cavalry yariki, and now we're going to get even some more fire. I'm lining up to have some supporting shots with my matchlocks. So the White Tiger actually proving themselves pretty useful. And now here comes the entire samurai force. They could not stop my massive charge up this flank, and it just steamrolled the enemy. Once they couldn't get their fire on, it's going to be the end of them. They're going to get another line. Let's actually watch this. But I fear they're actually going to end up shooting their own men. So he's trying to set up some additional lines to fall back to. But look at the sheer numbers I have coming forward. So you can see these shots actually taking out a couple of my men. But that's it. That was the big volley. And now he's going to be left to reload. And he's going to have to reload in the face of this. My guy's charging right into him. So there you go. Now these guys are basically done for. I have more guys supporting fire, and now we're going to absolutely take this position and force. We're going to start to line up on this flank. We're going to have some counter charges on this position, try and break the red bear, but they have so much. This is overlapping armies with the hill position, plus Imperial units. So we get a pretty decent charge, but they have so many units on this side. So whereas we double teamed the opponents there, did a massive infantry rush, they're going to double team us over here. And yeah, Kyoto Police, they're going to swamp all of our cavalry, trying to get in the mix. And the remainder of the forces here are just going to absolutely destroy the cavalry position. Over here, you can see a pretty good exchange going on. A lot of men dying in the lines, and then we pulled back on this flank. So we're just trying to buy time at this point. But now here comes the enemy counter charge. They realize that in that assault, we actually spread out our lines too thin. So now look at what we're facing against. Combined might of the opponents are going to be doing a massive counter charge, led by, I believe, the Kyoto Police and other Kachi units. Yeah. Wow. Oh my god, some of our own shots are just destroying our men. Yeah, indiscriminately killing these units. So the elite Red Bear, United States Marines just massacring this force. And we're going to try and form up on this side. Big charge from the Katana Kachi. Maybe not the best positioning with the shooter infantry in the back. They're not going to get many shots on. A couple of volleys in the gaps to weaken the opponents. So we're going to try and contest this front. And we are pretty well, breaking the force against our Katana Kachi. So our Katana Kachi and the force are going to do pretty well. We're doing a good move to countercharge all of the opponents who countercharge us. Then we hit them from the flank, and now all of our infantry are going to be meeting in the middle. But in the same time, we have a lot of these guys in the back on both sides actually just shooting into the melee mix. So very unfortunate for the native forces on both sides. It seems that they sent both armies sent in melee infantry into the grind, and then indiscriminately both sides are then shooting into the middle. It's raining lead in this middle. This is just a hailstorm of death and destruction. This is bad news for anyone caught in the mix. And unfortunately for us, the disadvantage here is we're actually losing this front as well. The enemy had such high tier infantry. You can see these guys, the stats on them, pretty impressive compared to our guys, who are now going to be just getting suppressed and countercharged. The enemy is going to end up with more rifles at the end of the fight, and that's very, very problematic for us. Now we're kind of trying to contest this position here, but once we move out past the sort of support of our infantry and the woods, we're going to be going uphill. And the problem with uphill in Shogun 2 is not only does it tire your units, but when you're talking about rifle fire, oh my god, you can unleash so much death, because not only is it firing by rank in your own units, but it's firing by like multiple units, one unit on top of the other on top of the hill. So anything approaching this position is going to be absolutely thrashed and destroyed. I'm going to be pulling in some of my White Tiger force onto this front. So over here, a lot of my units have been, they were still chasing around the enemy general, who was being very hard to track down. So I dedicated a lot of my forces on this flank to finally cleaning up that general. I had to like corner him, and then we finally exterminated him. My general helped in that endeavor. And now finally, these tired Katana units who absolutely destroyed this force. You can even see the tattered banner. That's a cool feature. But yeah, let's look at the blood-soaked units on this side. So a hard work's day, and now they're going to be coming back, and they are desperately needed on this side of the battlefield, where our entire force is almost like a kind of like a D-Day thing. We were able to crash through the river, and now we're caught against the murderous fire from superior positions up on the hill, and our units are just getting torn to pieces. Especially, you can imagine these ghosts shooting here. These are actually Tosa riflemen who can fire when hidden. Now here comes some of my guys on the flank, and I'm going to be putting the hurt on our opponents. I'm not obviously going to be very accurate with the White Tiger force, but it's enough to kind of tie these White Bear down and then allow me to push the flank with my White Tiger, start to get in the force and try and overwhelm these Black Bear infantry perhaps. And I can start to see that the morale for our entire force is very, very low. So I'm going to pull back before I lose this guy. It looks like suppressing fire has been engaged on my men, so I pull in my general to try and bring these guys back, not allow them to rout. But this assault, oh my god, we lost our entire army coming into this position. And we did do pretty well in the melee engagement, but sticking around in that fight was to our opponent's advantage. It was to the superior infantry force's advantage. And here comes the United States Marines, other forces, pushing forward, and they're going to start to now repel my guys. I have some White Tiger force trying to hold this up. They're going to be getting chewed apart as well. And again, we're just trying to buy time for this entire infantry column to move in from the other hills. No rest for these guys. And finally, the rest of our force now came back into the fight. So if we were to engage this position, it might be a little hard given that they're in the forest, but at least they won't be able to do with the support of the Tosa rifles and other elite infantry back there, because I am pushing the flanks just to occupy their attention and allow us to get some semblance of an advantage here. My White Tiger force is actually going to start to get the flank on our opponents, but take a look at the Tosa rifles up on the hill. Ridiculous range on those guys. Going to start picking apart some of my units here. And we're going to have impromptu push-up contest going on here. Come on, guys. Now's not the time. Now, yeah, my White Tiger force is getting absolutely raped. But the main advantage I had was throwing these guys away, was to buy time for us to push up the flank and here get some very important strikes on Imperial Guard infantry here. So the sacrifice of this unit allowed us to turn these guys and then re-engage with all of our forces on their flank. And we actually broke Imperial Guard. So I think trading a White Tiger force for an Imperial Guard unit is definitely worth it. The enemy is now going to start pushing up perhaps too far. And my White Tiger is in the up-close range that they are in now. It's going to be pretty good. And now I'm going to start charging in with some of my infantry columns. I had a couple units in the advance of my main column here that were in the vicinity, and now they're going to be pushing up. My general is in the vicinity. He's going to start to push this here just to allow his aura of influence to keep these guys going. And now, finally, retribution by the sword coming in here. And look at these Marines. It's so funny. Is that their hat? That's a weird little graphical thing going on. Oh no, that's... Huh. That's weird. No, they all have that. That's like a little feather. I'm confused, guys. Sorry, let's get back to the battle. Yeah, and the nice thing about engaging these guys like this is look at where those shots are coming in, right into the back of the opponent. So I'm actually using the opponents as a meat shield. Look at this. I'm chasing these guys back up the field, and I'm gonna use them as a meat shield to make the approach. But I can't move too far because then the angles of fire are gonna be against me. So I pull out of that position, replace them with White Bear or White Tiger who can get some shots off from the forest, and these guys did good work. So, oh wow, it just hit me how many casualties. Oh, and this is another thing from Shogun 2 that I kind of love in a gruesome sense, is the writhing bodies that you get on the floor. It definitely adds a sense of just theme and just bloody gore. I don't know how to put that. I mean, it's just gruesome, and it definitely adds to the theme of the battle and the feel of just utter onslaught that's happening here. I'm trying to push up in the woods. You can kind of see my guys at a distance. I decided to pull back. It's not worth tangoing with the rifle units up here who can outrange and outshoot me from a superior position. So I pull back just enough to keep these guys occupied. And now we're going to reclaim these woods. So it turns out these woods, very important strategic position. I mean, this hill is perhaps the most important, and this is the one of secondary importance. My guys are slowly moving their way across. I was walking them. Now they were very tired before, and now they're just tired and winded. So I know they're going to have their wits about them for when we engage the opponents. Because look at this, they're marching towards a smoky battlefield in the distance. They can hear the cracks of gunfire. They look in the distance, and what they see is a hill erupting with explosions, and they know from this position here, that is our objective, gentlemen. That hill that is erupting in, volcano fire is our objective. We're going to storm that hill. So, yeah, I gave these guys the chance to get rested, and now we're going to be charging forward. Here we go, running forward. Actually, let's see if we can't watch some of my units make the push. Who do we want to watch? I like the fact that you can cycle between units in this. Let's get another force that's actually currently engaged. Most of my forces here were actually destroyed, so it's going to be down to the infantry. I have one remaining rifle unit, and that's it. The opponents still have a lot of their white bear. Tosa rifles up on the hill, some elite red bear here, and they're going to try and countercharge our guys, pushing up, try and break them, and we're going to actually at the same time try and reform behind our structures here. They're going to be desperately chasing after our guys, trying to break everyone because they know here comes the hurt, here comes the pain. Woo. My guys are bloody. Look at this armor. Oh man, I'm kind of excited for this charge. I know, wow, this is kind of a scary sight. So here we go. Let's see if we can't get a good position. Now they're given the order to advance, and basically they're advancing into a dead zone. They know that the opponent was absolutely, our entire army. They could see what happened to the army that came here before them. This is a scary sight. My guys on the right getting some nice shots, and let's just go ahead and watch this charge. I don't want to be in the front ranks. Okay, let's go in the rear ranks and get a view of what this looks like. Whoever I'm following right now is slowly shuffling to he's slowly shuffling to the back. He used to be in the front row, and now he's, alright guys, yeah, let's charge, and he's in the rear rows now. See if we can't get a front row shot of what it looks like to be in this engagement. And we do have a little bit of a crest in front of us that should help defend this charge. And it looks like the opponents are actually running, so this is a welcome sign. You can see they're falling back to the superior positions up on the hill. Let's follow this front rank guy. Treading over the entire corpse-filled field. There we go. Giving the hurt to these blasphemous guys using guns. Fucking cut them open. Oh my god. Dude, I wish they had some of these, oh my god. This is bloodier than I ever remember. That's so cool. I wish they had that, sort of character animation feel that you could get in Attila. That would be awesome. So now here comes the huge, glorious charge of my Katana guys, my Yari guys, all charging up the line. They're going to get some flanking shots, but it's not going to be enough. We're finally going to close on these Tosa rifles, the bane of this entire battle. These guys have killed so many men just sniping from the top of the hill. So this is what we give to the honorless. A belly full of sharp steel. I am going to watch these guys die happily. Oh, hey! They're not allowed to kill any of my guys. Oh my god, they're killing my guys. Oh my goodness, did you see that decapitation? Oh, come on. Come on, kill these honorless guys. Well, these guys are super veteran depth, so that's why. But I have two forces just, sent over to deal with these Tosas. But the Tosas, oh my god, they're holding it together. So I'm now charging after the enemy forces. On all flanks, our enemy general is right. Is that enemy or ally? Yeah, that's the enemy, I think. Finally, we're able to break these Tosas. I want to watch these guys die. So there we go. Cutting all these forces down. A couple of them lying on the ground screaming. There we go. That blood feels good. So there we go. Now we broke through that force. We took the hilltop position. Very symbolic. And then the rest of the army broke. So very, very fun battle. Actually, I have to thank you guys for recommending Fall of the Samurai. This type of battle is way, way fun. Especially with the Blood and Gore DLC. that you guys also recommended I get. It's a little over the top in Shogun, but it fits the theme, I feel. And it definitely makes the assaults like this way more gruesome. I mean, this is epic. So I hope you guys enjoyed. We're going to go ahead and end the battle and look at some of the stats. As always, let me know what you'd like to see in the future in terms of Total War battles. I've actually really enjoyed going and covering all the different Total Wars. I should have a Medieval 2 battle that I can share with you guys if I haven't already put it up yet. I don't know the order of the uploads. But yeah. So now you can see the stats of the final battle, how it went down. And my guys, woo woo, MVP. Well, I did bring 2,500. Well, I guess so did Vikinger. And I got 2,000 kills. So not as much as this guy here who got a ton of kills. That's got to be the guy with the Tosa rifles. Let's go ahead and look at some of the unit stats. Yeah, my Yariki does this thing shoot. 106 kills. Apparently you don't need to shoot to rack up the kills. So... Goose doing pretty decently. Tosa rifles. Oh, that's it. 58 kills? Huh. Or maybe that's on our ally side. Yeah, that's on our team. I wonder how the enemy Tosa rifles got, how many kills they got. Anyways, like I was saying, if you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, of course, and obviously leave a recommendation for what you'd like to see in the future. I know you guys did want to see perhaps some naval battles, but as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I have to unlock those ships before I can do naval battles with, you know, the appropriate unlocked ships. Otherwise I'm just left with crap shits, and we obviously want to see the big badass ironclads. So I will be working to unlocking those, and then hopefully we'll be able to share that with you in the future. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.